Now, Strictly continues to make headlines this morning following that Channel 4 News interview last night. And actress Amanda Abbington... Morning,
Good
Amanda.
morning.
I watched it last night. It's clearly been a deeply upsetting time for you and indeed your family. It's caused huge amounts of stress and anxiety. Why has it been so important to you, do you feel, to sit here now and to speak about it ahead of the investigation's conclusion? Why are you wanting to speak before all of that?
Well, I am doing press for the play, so I think, you know, talking about Strictly had to come up, and I couldn't stay silent on it because it would have been really weird, because obviously there is a complaint. But I felt I had to speak up because I don't want people to be frightened of speaking out if they're being bullied, or if they feel they're in a difficult situation, or if they feel that they're not being heard. And so, you know, I was doing publicity for the play. People asked me about Strictly, and I thought, well, I'm not going to, you know, there are things I can't talk about, obviously, and I'm honouring the complaint. I'm not speaking out of turn. I'm not saying anything specific that happened. But I do feel I have the right to say it wasn't. It was a toxic environment that I was in while I was rehearsing, because it was. You know, I know what happened in that room, and I don't think it's. You know, it would be remiss of me if I was to just say, it's fine. You know, I don't want to talk about it. But it's important that women and men, because men get bullied as well. It's important that women feel they are in a safe space where they can stand up and go, this is inappropriate behaviour and it needs to be recognised. And I don't want women to feel like they can't speak out.
And is that the best way to describe, from what you're allowed to say, like you've just said, at this point, that it was bullying in that rehearsal room?
Yeah, it was inappropriate, it was mean, it was nasty, it was bullying, and I put up with it for 5 weeks, you know, 5, 6 weeks.
I know.
It started very early on, and I was, you know, when it started to happen, I would shut down because I recognise those red flags, and so I would shut down, and then I wouldn't, you know, it would be difficult to get in, and so that would just be a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Well, it's exactly what I was going to say, because many of us have donned the sequin costumes and we enter the Strictly world very excited about doing so. I was one of those people, albeit 16 years ago. I'm guessing you were as well.
Oh, God,
at the very beginning.
Yeah.
So at what point did you think, hang on, this is a different experience to what everyone else is having? At what point did you start raising concerns?
Week 1, 3rd day. I've got texts to the producer on day 3 going, this is awful, he hates me, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I'm trying my best, I promise you. So that was the first week, yeah.
And were there further discussions then?
Many.
And that was with the people working with you at the BBC, so there were concerns about how you were certainly managing it.
And I was trying, you know, I was going into the rehearsal room every day, because I've been in rehearsal rooms for 32 years. I'm in a rehearsal room at the moment, which is one of the most beautiful, safe spaces. And I know what rehearsal rooms are supposed to be like. And I don't care what background you're from, whether it's dancing, acting, singing, you know, you have a duty of care to bring into that rehearsal room compassion, understanding, sensitivity, and kindness. And that wasn't extended to me. And so I just said, I don't think this is right.
Because I remember, as I say, back in the day when I did, we had a crew in our rehearsal room filming most of the rehearsals, really.
Yeah.
And I know you're very aware that there were hours and hours of footage of your rehearsals.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm guessing this footage holds the key to all of your claims.
Yeah, there's this extensive footage that I haven't blocked. That's, you know, I've not blocked it.
So at this point, we're certainly being told that it's, you know, it's BBC footage. We're being led to believe Giovanni hasn't blocked it either. It's the BBC.
Oh, right.
It's their footage.
Right, yeah.
But that, I'm guessing, will come out as part of this investigation. I mean,
yeah,
you'll have to see it at some point.
Yeah, I don't know how it's working. My lawyer, Persephone, is incredible. Like, she's been by my side since I decided to complain about it, and she knows all the minutiae and the ins and outs of that. You know, I wasn't expecting to have to do any of this.
Yeah.
I was just expecting to go onto a reality dance show, have a nice time, and then leave with, you know, having a nice experience.
And do you feel if they'd maybe dealt with it better at the time? And I say they, as in the BBC, or those that were around
Yeah.
who were caring for you, you know, whoever that was. Do you think it could have been maybe nipped in the bud earlier for you?
I genuinely don't know. I really don't, because, you know, I can only speak from my personal experience, and also from people who spoke to me who also went through it. We all had the same experience, and I don't know what happened. I don't know where the breakdown was. I don't know where the lack of the miscommunication happened, but it certainly had a lasting effect on not only me but several other people who went before me.
We've obviously had a right of reply from Giovanni Pernice. They have said we are cooperating fully with the BBC's review process. All parties have been asked to respect this process and to not speak to the media before it concludes. We will continue to respect the integrity of the investigation and believe it is the right forum for all the evidence to be reviewed. The BBC has shared the allegations they have been able to substantiate with us. They do not resemble Amanda's latest allegations. Giovanni refutes any claim of threatening or abusive behaviour, and having provided the BBC with his evidence, is confident that the review will prove this. So obviously it's appropriate that we have that right.
Of course, yeah, absolutely.
And I know you understand that as well, Amanda.
Yeah.
You did say that raising your head above the parapet was the best and worst thing that you've had to do. And I know you've had to endure some horrendous trolling, and not just you, your entire family.
Yeah.
What has that been like? How has it impacted all of you?
I didn't expect any of... I mean, I knew that, you know, raising and voicing my concerns probably would, you know, mark me as public enemy number one. I realised that, but I didn't expect the onslaught that I got and the persistent amount of death threats and rape threats, not only to me, but to my children and, you know, members of my family, you know, Jonathan included. I've got screenshot after screenshot after screenshot, which I had to, you know, in the end, it got so much that I couldn't screenshot them all because it was starting to really affect my mental health, because I was just thinking, God, everybody hates me. And everybody wants me dead and wants me to die of cancer and wants my children
This is what people were actually writing on these
Yeah, I hope you die of cancer. Well, quite a few of those, and quite a few... I'm sitting here laughing at the thought that your daughter gets raped in front of you because of what you did to Giovanni.
I mean, you can't...
And I'm so sorry if that's upset anybody watching. I'm so sorry, but that was things like that were happening every day for 8 months.
Has it altered the way that you're living your life?
Yeah.
Has it altered your day-to-day life?
Completely, yeah. I go outside worrying because, you know, I had messages saying, watch your back, because you've just, you know, you're going after Giovanni. And I'm not. I just literally said, I'm not sure this is appropriate behaviour. Can we address it? That's all I did. And the onslaught that I've had for 8 months, relentless. You know, I'm off social media now and I don't really go out much. And when I do, I feel very vulnerable and very exposed because... And I worry about my kids, you know, I do. Because, you know, 16 and 18, you know, they don't need their mum to go through that, and they don't need to... And on they're amazing, my children.
Grand scale of what's going on in the world, do you think...
Yeah, it's
really,
like, come on, really?
We don't need to deal with
Can women not say it? Can women not voice their concerns about anything without being called hysterical and overreactionary and...
Well, the BBC Director General, Tim Davie, has spoken out this week. Of course, it's the first time we've sort of heard from him, and he has apologised to anyone who didn't have a wholly positive experience. What do you think should happen next?
What, with me? Or
yeah,
just
with the show, with the proceedings.
Well, I think Strictly. I'd love Strictly. I think this is just an anomaly. You know, I love that. I always wanted to do that show. And I think it's such a beautiful British institution, and I think everybody loves it. It's like, you know, it's like when I was a kid watching Morecambe and Wise. It's the same thing, you know, you tune in on Saturday night to watch Strictly. And everybody, you know, most people on that show are wonderful, and I've made some good friends on that show. And I don't want it to end. I want it to have a beautiful extended life, because it's really, you know, it's Saturday night entertainment. I don't know what the answer is. I don't, because, you know, it's not up to me.
But what would you like from the BBC? Would an apology
I'd like an apology, yeah.
start?
I'd like an apology. And I'd like, you know, I'd like this not to happen to people working in that corporation again. I'd like women to be listened to and heard and taken seriously, you know.
BBC have said that anyone involved in a complaint has a right to confidentiality and fair process, and therefore it would be inappropriate to comment further on individuals. However, when issues are raised with us, we always take them extremely seriously and have appropriate processes in place to manage this. The BBC and BBC Studios take duty of care extremely seriously. Our processes on Strictly are kept under constant review, and last week we announced additional steps to further strengthen welfare and support on the show. I assume that's alluding to the notion of chaperones in the room and everything else. So that's certainly how they're moving forward. How are you moving forward? I do know that this play, this new play, is a big part of trying to carry on life as normal. It's called When It Happens to You. A very intense play. Very upsetting content. However, you've described it as a hugely uplifting one.
Completely, yes. And also, I'd signed to this play before I did Strictly. You know, this was something that was in the pipeline sort of at the beginning of last year. You know, Jez sent me this play and said, you know, what do you think? And I was like, this has to be out there. It's a beautifully uplifting play. It's 90 minutes, so it's straight through. It's 4 actors on stage with no props, with a beautiful soundscape, with beautiful lighting, and it's about a family who come to terms with something that's happened in their life and the ripple effect that causes. And it's about love, and it's about connection, and it's about speaking your truth and speaking out and moving on and being hopeful. And it's a wonderful piece of entertaining and thought-provoking theatre. And it's, you know, it's out there and it's very important, I think.
And has it come at the right time for you?
Yeah.
Are you strong enough? Do you feel you're strong enough to convey that story?
I do. I think, you know, it's a brave piece of theatre. It's a true story. I want to honour Tawny O'Dell's words because it happened to her and happened to her daughter. So I think the message is incredibly strong. It's incredibly powerful, and it speaks to women and men everywhere about standing up and fighting and not letting, you know, the bullies get you and moving on with your life. It's a very important piece of theatre.
And you mentioned Jonathan there, and I mean, a huge support, obviously, to you. May I ask about the big day coming up? Are we looking that far ahead right now?
Next year, yeah, we're gonna
going on.
Yeah, I mean, you know, hopefully this won't drag on till next year. Hopefully, next year we're looking to get married, and we're going to have a lovely big weekend extravaganza with our friends and family. And he's amazing. Like, you know, everything that he's been through, you know, he still manages to be confident and funny, and he's everything about him is just an inspiration. He's my hero, really, and he's by my side all the time and is my #1 fan, and I'm his. He's a joy. Yeah, I'm very lucky.
Yeah, it's a big day or big weekend. That is all still to come. Are you feeling confident about the investigation now, Amanda, and the conclusion of it, and hopefully being able to move on with your life afterwards?
I hope so. I hope, you know, I don't know what's going to happen, but I know what happened in that room, and I know that I did nothing wrong, and I know that, I left that show with my head held high, knowing I'd done the best that I could do.
And still no calls at all from anyone in relation to aftercare?
The producers got in touch with me a few times after I left, but I've not really heard from people.
But you're willing to speak if they were to call.
Completely, yeah. I mean, I've got nothing to hide. I did nothing wrong.
Amanda, thank you very much. I know, like you say, this play was arranged before
Yeah,
Strictly,
yeah.
and here we are talking about two
Yes.
major things in your life right
Yes.
now, and I understand it's been
Yeah.
a very tough time for you and your family with everything, particularly online, all of that
Yeah.
stuff. So thank you so much for
Thank
speaking.
you.
And the play, like we say, it's called When It Happens to You. It starts on July 31st at Park Theatre. It runs for a month, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
5
So
weeks.
5
5 weeks, and it's right by the Tube, and you can have a really good pizza there as well. And it's got an invisible cat in it, so you know,
Oh, what is not to love?
there's something for everybody.
Thank you.